Today we're going to be talking about notes on your fretboard. This took me a long time to figure out because I was looking at it all as one big picture rather than trying to break it up into little segments. So that's the way that I'm going to be relaying the information to you guys. I think this is the best way to figure out how the fretboard works, and it should make it easier for you to memorize it as well. So right here you can see we have a fretboard with frets 1 through 12. When you're looking at tablature, the thicker string is always on the bottom and the thinner string is always at the top. And in my previous video we covered Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. So that's how you know the notes of all these strings. This one's an E string, this one's an A string, and so on. So how do you figure out what notes are on the frets? Well, let's start with the A string. The fifth string, second from the bottom, is the A string. We're starting with this string because notes in music, they go A, B, C, D, E, G. And they actually go in order that way too. So starting with A makes the most sense. Now after you end with G, you start back over at A and just keep on going over and over and over until you reach the end of the fretboard. So let's fill in our blanks now. We've got A at the nut, which is basically your 0th fret. Where is B gonna be? It's gonna be right there. And then C, and then D, and then E, and then F, and then G, and then it starts back over at A. So what's in between notes A and B and C and D and so on? Well, those are half notes. They're notes that are sharper than an A, but more flat than a B. So you'll call it A sharp or B flat. You can choose either one. I normally go with sharps because it just makes it a little bit easier for me to memorize it, and also it makes it easier to remember whenever you're doing bends or something like that. Sharps for me is just a quicker way. When I see everything as a sharp instead of a sharp or a flat, it just makes it easier to memorize for me. You can choose to look at it either way you want, but I picked sharp. So now let's fill in the blanks with our sharps. Right here is A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. So everything that we just covered here is going to be exactly the same on every other string. It just starts in a different place. It still goes A through G no matter where you are on the fretboard. So let's try applying that principle to the E string. I've circled E through A here. So I'm going to take this and copy it down onto the E string. And there that is. So let's fill in the rest of the fretboard with what we've already learned. We'll fill in A sharp, B, C, and so on. And there we go. Now if you notice, every 12 frets, the note will repeat. So if your string is A, then on the 12th fret, it's going to be A again. And on the 24th fret, it's going to be A again. You can literally use this method anywhere on the fretboard. Now the hardest part to memorizing what notes go where is which notes have sharps and which don't. But it's actually really easy to remember. The only ones that don't have sharps are B and E. So there's nothing between B and C, and there's nothing between E and F. So does this mean there's no such thing as a B sharp? No, it totally exists. You can actually tune your guitar to that tuning, and you'll be able to get that note. But in standard tuning, without using bends or without using the whammy bar, B sharps and E sharps don't exist. So you don't have to worry about those for now. The most important thing here is to memorize what strings are what notes. And then after that, you can work on the rest of the fretboard. So you can create your own little mnemonic to memorize B, C, and E and F as having no semitone in between them. Me, I didn't have to. I just remember B-Seth, and that's all I go by. Everything else has a note in between them. So that's pretty much all there is to it for right now. Later on, I'll get into alternate tunings and the wheel of fifths and things like that. So stick around for that. I'll see you next time.